Have you ever felt it? That quiet, persistent sense of being a guest in your own life? You are at a party, surrounded by laughter and conversation that rises and falls in predictable rhythms, and you feel a strange, transparent wall between you and the scene. You are there, you are smiling, you are nodding, but the real you is somewhere else, hovering a few inches above your own head, observing the whole affair with a kind of gentle, bewildered curiosity. You listen to people describe their lives, their passions, their allegiances, their fierce identification with a job, a city, a political party, a sports team, and you feel a polite but profound incomprehension. You search within yourself for a similar flag to wave, a similar anthem to sing, but you find only space, an open field where a fortress was supposed to be built. For years, you've likely interpreted this feeling as a defect, a failure to connect, a sign that you are somehow broken, lacking a fundamental piece of the human apparatus that allows everyone else to so effortlessly belong. You've diagnosed yourself with 100 different social maladies. You've read books on how to be more engaging, how to find your tribe, how to finally click into place. You've tried on identities like coats in a second-hand store, hoping one would finally fit, only to find the sleeves are too short, the shoulders too tight. Each time, you are left with the same hollow echo, "I don't belong here." And you are absolutely right. But what if I were to tell you that this feeling, this profound and sometimes aching sense of homelessness, is not a symptom of your brokenness, but the first stirring of your sanity? What if this failure to belong to any one place is the beginning of your belonging to everything? What if the problem is not that you can't find a home, but that you have begun to realize that you are the entire landscape, and no single house will ever large enough to contain you? You see, the society we have constructed is a magnificent and elaborate game of categories. It's a grand masquerade ball where, upon entry, you are handed a mask and a script. And the primary rule of this ball is that you must never, under any circumstances, admit that you are wearing a mask. The second rule is that you must treat your script as if it were the spontaneous and authentic outpouring of your own soul. We are born into this play already in progress. We are taught our lines from the moment we can speak. We learn the acceptable costumes for success, for love, for intelligence, for piety. We are given a name, a nationality, a religion, a social class, a neat little box with a label printed on the outside. And the game is to spend our lives decorating this box, defending its borders, and finding other people with similar-looking boxes to form a larger, more secure fortress. This is what we call belonging. It is the process of mistaking the label for the contents, the map for the territory. The immense comfort of the game comes from its predictability. If you play your part correctly, you receive your reward, nods of approval, invitations to the right parties, a steady paycheck, a secure-feeling place in the hierarchy. The game offers a wonderful anesthetic against the terrifying, boundless mystery of being. It gives you a simple answer to the question, who are you? You are a doctor, you are an American, you are a mother, you are an artist, you are a success, you are a failure. See how neat, how tidy? The rules are clear, the roles are defined. But you have started to notice the edges of the stage. You've seen a fellow actor momentarily forget their lines and watch the panic flash in their eyes. You've caught a glimpse of the unpainted plywood on the back of a marble pillar. You've heard the faint echo of the director's voice from somewhere off stage. You have begun to feel the stiff cardboard of your own mask against your skin, and it has started to itch. Your pain, your exhaustion, your feeling of alienation is not coming from a personal failure to play the game well. Your pain is the perfectly natural, exquisitely sane response of a conscious being to an environment of beautiful, consensual artifice. Your exhaustion doesn't stem from your inability to keep up. It stems from the monumental, soul-crushing effort of pretending that the game is real. Every day, you expend 99% of your energy in the performance of being an enthusiastic employee, a contented citizen, a predictable friend. The performance of caring deeply about things that, in the quiet of your own heart, seem utterly trivial. The performance of having a solid, definable self that can be presented, judged, and hopefully approved of. You feel like a fraud not because you are one, but because you are being asked to perpetually act like one, and your very nature is rebelling against the role. You are a wild river being asked to hold perfectly still in the shape of a decorative pond. The strain is immense. That feeling of not belonging is the sound of the dam beginning to crack. It is the first trickle of water breaking free. So do not mistake the groan of a breaking chain for a flaw in your own spirit. It is the sound of your own liberation beginning. This is the great secret, the beautiful, terrifying revelation at the heart of your predicament. Your perceived flaws are not flaws at all. They are nascent superpowers. They are the features of a consciousness that is outgrowing its cage. Let us look at these failures one by one, not with the eye of a critic, but with the eye of a poet. You say you feel lonely in a crowd. You describe this as a social anxiety, a failure to connect. But look closer. What is really happening? You are in a room full of people who are broadcasting their identities, their masks. The conversation is a frantic exchange of business cards for the soul. This is who I am. This is what I believe. This is what I have achieved. It is a performance. Your loneliness is not a lack of connection. It is a profound sensitivity to the lack of authentic connection in the room. Your spirit is not thirsty for more noise, more small talk, more performance. It is thirsty for the truth. It is a finely tuned instrument that can no longer tolerate the discordant notes of pretense. You are not lonely, you are clear. You are a tuning fork that rings with a pure tone, and you have become exquisitely aware of everything that is out of tune around you. It's not that you can't connect, it's that you have become allergic to the cheap, synthetic substitute for connection that is so often on offer. Your solitude in the crowd is not a prison, it is a watchtower. From there, you see the game for what it is. It is a sign of immense integrity. You say you cannot seem to commit to a single path, a single identity. You jump from interest to interest, from job to job, from philosophy to philosophy. The world labels this as being flaky, indecisive, lost. You have probably internalized this judgment. You look at people who have had the same career for 40 years, the same political affiliation since they were 18, the same unshakable worldview, and you feel a pang of envy for their certainty. But what is their certainty? It is a house with no windows and all the doors locked from the inside. They have chosen a single room in the infinite mansion of existence and have declared it the entire universe. They have mistaken their raft for the whole ocean. You, on the other hand, are a navigator of the open sea. Your indecisiveness is not a weakness. It is a radical openness. You refuse to drop anchor in any single port because you have fallen in love with the voyage. You understand on a deep, intuitive level that the self is not a static noun, but a dynamic verb. It is a process, a flow, a dance. To choose one identity and cling to it for life is to freeze the dance and call the resulting statue me. You have refused to do this. You have insisted on the right to keep dancing, even if it looks chaotic to those standing still on the shore. You have not failed to find an identity. You have succeeded in resisting the temptation of a false and limiting one. You are not lost. You are exploring. There is a profound difference. You say you see the absurdity and the suffering of the world too clearly. It haunts you. You watch the news. You observe the petty squabbles in your office. You see the fear and desperation behind the confident masks of others, and it fills you with a kind of sorrowful empathy. You cannot simply lighten up and ignore it, as you are so often advised to do. This sensitivity, you've been told, is a form of weakness. It makes you too fragile for the real world. But this is the most tragic misunderstanding of all. Your ability to see the pain is not a pathology. It is the blossoming of compassion. You have started to see through the grand illusion of the separate self. You have begun to understand that the suffering of another is not, in some abstract philosophical sense, but in a real, visceral way, your own suffering. The walls of your ego have become thin, porous. The joy and the sorrow of the world now flow through you more freely. This is not weakness. This is the very definition of an expanded consciousness. The real world that others speak of is the world of illusion, the world of masks and defenses and carefully constructed walls to keep the suffering out. But you cannot keep the suffering out without also keeping out the love, the beauty, and the truth. Your heart is not broken. It is broken open. It is an immense strength to be able to feel the world's pain and not turn away. It is the beginning of a wisdom that the insulated and the numb can never know. And what about your inability to get riled up about the things that seem to animate everyone else? The sports rivalries, the office politics, the latest manufactured outrage of the 24-hour news cycle. You feel a sense of detachment from these temporary storms in a teacup. This can be misread as apathy or cynicism. But is it? Or is it a shift in perspective? It is like a man who has spent his entire life living in a valley, consumed by the daily dramas of the village, the gossip, the feuds, the market prices. Then one day he climbs the tallest mountain. From the summit he looks down upon the valley. He can still see the village. He can see the little figures moving about. He bears them no ill will. He wishes them well. But from this new vantage point, their frantic concerns seem smaller. He sees the vastness of the sky above, the endless range of mountains beyond, the slow, inexorable turning of the sun and stars. His perspective has fundamentally shifted. He has not become apathetic. He has become contextual. Your detachment is not a lack of care. It is an abundance of perspective. You have begun to climb the mountain. You are starting to see the temporary human dramas for what they are. Fascinating, sometimes beautiful, sometimes tragic, but ultimately a small part of a much, much larger cosmic play. You are not disengaged. You are engaged with a far bigger reality. The final and most intimate failure is the growing silence inside you. The old ambitions, the desperate need for validation, the constant inner chatter of the ego trying to prove its worth, it's all starting to quiet down. At first, this silence can be terrifying. It feels like emptiness, like a void. You wonder if you've lost your drive, your passion, your edge. But this is the silence of a battlefield after the war has ended. For your entire life, your mind has been a war zone. The army of who you should be has been in a constant, bloody conflict with the army of who you are. The battle for approval, for security, for status has raged relentlessly. Now, a truce has been called. The soldiers are laying down their arms. The silence you feel is not the silence of death. It is the silence of peace. The space opening up inside you is not a void. It is the clearing where something new and authentic can finally begin to grow. You have stopped fighting the current of the river. You have stopped trying to swim upstream to some imaginary destination. You have begun, perhaps without even realizing it, to float. And you are discovering that the river knows exactly where it is going. Your lack of frantic ambition is not laziness. It is the dawn of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, trust in the universe. It is the quiet, unshakable confidence of a tree that does not worry about how it will grow, but simply grows. So you see, this state of not belonging is not an affliction. It is a graduation. You have graduated from the kindergarten of prescribed identities and prefabricated realities. You are now in the wide, open, and sometimes intimidating university of life itself. And the curriculum is simply to be, to observe, to experience directly, without the filter of a pre-approved script. The loneliness that you feel is real, but it is not the loneliness of the outcast. It is the solitude of the pioneer. The first people to venture into an unknown continent were surely lonely. They left the comfort and familiarity of their tribe behind. They faced the unknown without a map. But they were also the first to see the new landscapes, to breathe the new air, to witness the new dawns. Your journey is no different. You are an explorer of consciousness, and you have ventured beyond the stockades of collective belief. And here is the beautiful paradox. The moment you truly, deeply, and unapologetically accept your non-belonging, you begin to belong in a new and far more profound way. You stop trying to fit into the houses of others, and you realize you are at home in the open field under the stars. You stop trying to sing a chorus that feels false in your throat, and you begin to hear the music of the spheres. You stop seeking your reflection in the eyes of others, and you begin to see yourself in the rustling of the leaves, the flowing of the water, the silent gaze of an animal. You discover that you do not belong to a group, a nation, or an ideology. You belong to the universe. You are not a wave, separate and struggling. You are the entire ocean, expressing itself for a little while as a wave. The frantic need to fit in is a symptom of forgetting this fundamental truth. It is the amnesia of the ocean, believing it is only a single fragile wave, terrified of crashing on the shore. But you are remembering. The crash is not your end. It is your return. The people around you may not understand. They will continue to play the game, and for many, it is a source of great comfort. Do not judge them. Do not try to drag them from the stage. Their play is their path, just as your path is yours. Your role is no longer to be an actor, but perhaps to be a compassionate member of the audience. You can watch the play with love, with understanding, and with a gentle smile. You can appreciate the performances, the drama, the comedy, but you no longer mistake it for reality. You can visit the houses, have dinner, share stories, and then, when the time comes, you can walk back out into the cool, clear night, feel the vastness above you, and know that this boundless, unnameable mystery is your true home. You are a citizen of nowhere, which is another way of saying you are a citizen of everywhere. So the next time that old familiar ache arises, that feeling of being an alien, a ghost, a stranger in a strange land, do not push it away. Do not pathologize it. Welcome it. Recognize it as a sacred reminder. It is the compass of your soul, telling you that you are still on course. It is the whisper of your own deep truth, saying, you are bigger than this, you are more than this, you are freer than this. Let the feeling of not belonging wash over you. Don't fight it. In the heart of that feeling, you will not find failure. You will find a quiet, spacious freedom. You will find the surprising, liberating, and utterly beautiful peace of being exactly who you are, a visitor, a wanderer, a witness, a perfect, seamless,
and inseparable part of the whole grand, mysterious, and unbelongable to cosmos. And in that realization, you will find you have finally, truly come home.